So take that, everyone who says that our dogs would behave the same way without the collar on. I forgot he didn't have his collar on. That's how good he was being. Hello, nice to meet you. Where's the crate stuff been since you sent me that message?
So I'm feeding her anytime she's in the crate. So
okay.
Every meal is in the crate.
Okay.
Anytime she goes in on her own goodwill, like getting her in there, giving her treats, telling her good.
Okay.
Today she went in there on her own, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to watch her, so I just shut her in and did my stuff and came back, and she was good.
Okay.
So I think I'm just trying to like ease her back into it because we went way too hard, and me personally, I was like, oh, I can't put her back in here.
Sure.
Like, it was not great.
Sure.
But she'll go into it now on her own. Like I don't even have to tell her. So and she knows crate and she's doing good on that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I wanted to like get her introduced to the collar and whatever with you, and then we can kind of work on that.
Yeah,
and, like
go back to it a little bit.
Focus on times where like we're gonna be home, but I can step out and have her like
and start working on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, so we've been leaving her out. We had a great week.
We'll go all the way in the back here.
A great week. And then we went to the hockey game.
Okay.
And I was watching them. They were all in the basement, and they weren't even like gated down there. They just were like, we're gonna hang out here. And I had my camera up, and we're like in the car, like 15 minutes from the house. And I saw her get up from the couch, and I'm like, and then I came down, and I was like, and so we just couldn't hold it, and 15 more minutes, we just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and that's the catch-22 is like with the potty training issues, the crate is like the main way to fix that. Yeah. So at least for that simple reason, we have to get her good with the crate. But obviously, I think it's an important life skill that really any dog should know. So we'll work on that. And, you know, there's definitely something to be said too, like safety-wise, especially if you have multiple dogs. Leaving them out together unsupervised can sometimes be risky. Even dogs that get along super well, you just never know. One day they might decide that they have an issue and no one's home, and that can get pretty scary pretty fast. Back to kennel, right?
We did.
Okay.
I have to get a replacement.
What part of it did she?
She like scratched up the entire front of the door.
Let's move those legs. She said, I can't. I am paralyzed. Can't move my legs. There you go. Good job. Yeah. Very nice.
You look good there.
You do. You look cozy. Okay. Come on. Good job. Can you turn around for me again? It's like pulling on taffy. She's just frozen.
It's funny because, like, I feel like, well, Goose will just go in, but, like, he's the one who's gonna, like, fight you. She's just like, I'm gonna hold still and make you do it. Where Goose would be like,
Yeah, he would at least give a little bit more resistance. Yeah. She's just like, do with me what you will, I guess. Good girl. Okay. I know, you're gonna be all right. Come on out. We're gonna go again. Ready? Come on. There you go. A little more. You can do it. You can do, there you go. Good job. Amazing. Good girl. Good job. Good job. Good job. I know, we just want you to be safe. Okay. Good job. Good. When she was in the impact and she had the meltdown, did she end up hurting herself at all, or was she just?
She didn't.
Okay.
She was because she was chewing on it so much.
Her gums were a little.
Yeah. And
Okay. The thing is though, is that like even as much damage as she did to the crate, like she didn't injure herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the important piece of it. Good job. Very nice.
We rubbed her. We had a
Okay.
mustache.
Oh, girl. There she is. Good girl. Very nice. Can you put that one foot back in there for me? She said, no, I can't. Just in there, please. Okay. Good job. You're doing good. If you would take food, I'd give it to you, but I can really tell you would not eat some food right now. Come on. Let's go. Okay. Good job. Come here, Kettle. Crate. Oh, she's sniffing in there. We're getting her nose engaged again. That's a good sign. Good job. Okay. Great. No. Crate. Thank you. So our criteria for crate is that all 4 feet have to be in it. Okay? Job. Kettle. Crate. By enforcing really clear boundaries of the crate without the door in play, we're able to put a little bit more like mental, like there's like a mental block in place rather than just her getting frustrated by like the physical block.
Yeah.
So we want her learning how to stay inside of the crate without the door, so that then when we do add the door, she was like mentally prepared for it. Exactly.
That makes sense.
Okay. Kettle. Crate. Good job. Okay. Good girl. Kettle. Crate. Good girl. You're doing a really nice job. Okay. All right, now we'll add this back on. She's like, oh, great. Because it sounds like, so if you're leaving her out when you're not home and she's not, other than the pottying issues, she's not like panicking.
No.
She's just whatever.
She's just
okay.
whatever.
So it's truly just like a confinement issue then that we're dealing with. Great. Much better. Good girl. No. So when she's pushing on the door, I told her no, and I gave her a correction for that. No. So we're enforcing, so we had been enforcing the invisible threshold, right? And now we're basically enforcing that just because there's a physical object here doesn't mean that that threshold doesn't still exist. So if you're pushing on the door, no, then that's her kind of perpetuating that habit of feeling like she can use force to get out. No. And I'm searching for whatever level gets her to disengage from it. So I had her at like 15 to start, and I'm at like a 30 right now. There we go. I know.
You would be like, oh my God,
Right?
30?
Your brother is quite the drama king, that's for sure. No. So did you see there, she pushed, I told her no and corrected her, and then she immediately retracted and yielded from it. And that's what I want to see, is that when I close the door, no, that she'll yield rather than resisting it by kind of pushing her head out. Good girl. Okay. She said, good luck getting me back in there now this time. And that's usually what will happen, is like every step we take that challenges her a little bit more with the crate, usually once you complete it and then try to start over, you'll see a little bit of regression. Because she'll be like, well, if you're going to do that again, then I'm definitely not going in there. So now we'll have to work through that, potentially. We'll see. She might surprise me. Kettle, crate. There you go. She said, backing up is not my strong suit. Good. So now I'm having to, our final step we ended on was being able to mess with the door. But if I can't get her to respect the invisible threshold, we can't move to that step again. So I'm kind of, now every step we go through reassessing, okay, now we need to stay on this one, work her through it a little bit before we go to the next one again. Okay? So I want to see a few good reps. Crate. Of her going in and respecting that invisible wall there. Okay, good job. Crate. Good girl. No. Just like, man. So basically the steps that we're going through with this that you can replicate at home is verbally respond, like on leash still, of course, so she can't just like completely run away from us and avoid. Verbally responding to going in the kennel without leash pressure. She has to at least be able to do that.
Yeah.
Step one. Step two, then we need to start expecting her to stay in the kennel without permission of coming out. And then step three, we can mess with the door a little bit, opening and closing it and making sure that she's not engaging with it or pushing on it. And then we can close the door and have her hang out in there for a minute or two, see what we get. If she were to like push on the door, paw at the door, bite at the door, any physical interaction with the crate, I would correct her for it right now. Is that making sense, kind of the steps?
Yeah.
And then at any point in there, if she's struggling, we just continue to do repetitions of that phase until we see progress, and then we can move on to the next step again. And like I said, as you keep pushing it to those next steps, expect that when you have to start back over, you might get stuck somewhere a little lower and have to troubleshoot a little bit. So now, when I come to open this, exactly, that's what we're gonna see. If she were to start, you know, lunging forward like she's gonna come out, I'm gonna try to close this on her so she can't and give her a correction at the same time. Okay. Good girl. That was very nice. You wanna go celebrate with your mommy really quick? Good job.
You're so good, I know you're not. Down always.
And that's an important thing to note too, is that a lot of times it's important to realize that, like, for the safety of the dog, we have to do sometimes the sad things while they stay sad, knowing that, like, in the future we're gonna have the happy kennel and she's gonna be fine with the kennel and all that kind of stuff. But if we put things off until she's like happy about it, you know, we could have a bunch of issues that crop up between now and then. Last thing we need is you getting into the garbage while they're gone and eating something you shouldn't. There we go. So any pressure that you feel on it with her nose, you're gonna correct her for it. And that was good. We even got like a step backwards a little bit, which is nice. Go ahead and walk away from her a little bit and see what we get. And so say that, like, you're working through these steps at home. This is when, like, you know, once you get to a pretty good spot like this, you can go outside, pull up your camera, you know, and any of that nonsense you can give a correction for. Something that I want to, because again, it might be a situation where you go outside, you're looking at your camera and you're like, okay, let me give her a correction, and 30 works well. It could also, once if the adrenaline hits a certain point, she might be like, I'm gonna keep trying. Yeah. So I want you to increase your level if you need to, but typically those settings are moments where you're gonna have to go in big jumps and not small ones. So, because if she's not feeling or not caring about, I should say, a 30, then a 35 probably isn't going to do much. Yeah. And then if you get to 35, what's 40 going to do at that point? Because she's like, what's a little bit more? You know, so you kind of need to do bigger jumps. So I would at least, if you have to go up, I would go up at least 15 at a time. So we're getting a little bit more intense. And again, when we're working through like really severe confinement issues like you've had with her, it might look a little ugly. But as you're correcting some of these things, because it's, you know, we're breaking, who knows how big of a habit this has become to her. You know what I mean? We don't know anything. All we know is that we can't allow her to hurt herself, and so she needs to learn how to be contained. Okay. Very nice. Once we hit this stage, the segments, obviously you can increase in time, you know what I mean, how long she stays in there before you let her out. And then you can also then start basing it on noticeable like de-escalation on her part or increased like comfortability. So what I mean by that is, like, say her starting point is just this, like awkwardly standing.
Yeah.
And then you look over and you notice at one point that she's like laying down or even sitting.
Yeah.
Then that would be a moment, don't make a big deal about it, but to go over and then open the door and make sure she's still waiting in there, do what you need to do, and then release her. So moments where you see her go from like, I'm uncomfortable, this is weird, to I'm accepting this a little bit more, then those are moments that you can give her a break from it. So that way we're kind of reinforcing that a little bit as well. It kind of creates a mental trick where they're like, the quicker I calm down, the quicker I get out. Yeah. And obviously they're not great at knowing a sense of like time. So it can translate pretty easily to longer periods and everything. But that's how you can kind of track when to let her out. You never ideally want to let her out when it's gone from like she's more escalated or more uncomfortable than she started. Yeah. You want to at least get it to drift back down before you go let her out. And I think now that you have a tool, because I mean you've done so much positive reinforcement stuff with her with the crate that, you know, we've kind of, I think, hit our wall of like, we've made the crate as positive as we could. Right. Now we truly just have to add in a little bit of punishment for some of the behaviors. You correct her for certain things, you're going to have a lot more success with it. Yeah. Do you feel confident now in kind of like knowing what to correct for and how to go through the steps with the e-collar with it?
I feel a lot better.
Good.
And creating like, just like knowing the roadmap and what to do.
Yes.
Any thoughts on like I said, right now, I brought the wire crate back in.
Yes.
She seems to like that better.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on when to attempt the impact crate?
The impact crate again?
Or not at all, like depending on how she does with the wire, like.
You could practice with both.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that either one is a fine option. Did she sit down?
No, it's hard to tell.
I know, I was like, yeah. No. That's pretty good though. It sounded like it for a second. But I mean, you could practice with both. You know what I mean? Yeah. And see if one is worse than the other, you know, whatever. But I think it's worth practicing with both, getting her accustomed to them. And then as far as like when you're leaving, I would say that I want you to be able to have her in there and be able to like fake leave while watching like your phone or whatever in the camera for at least like probably like a 20 to 30 minute chunk successfully before you're like, peace, I'm like actually truly gone. Yes, yes. So I don't think that that's gonna take you long now that we're doing it this way. So I would put that as like your base, and then in the meantime, when you do inevitably just have to leave, just try to put her somewhere as safe as you possibly can. All right, so now you can go ahead and go over and open the door, and again, if she starts trying to come out prematurely, you can correct for that as well. Beautiful. Good job, Kettle.
You did so good.
That was really, really good. Yeah, you'll be okay.
We were going through a trail that was like pretty active. Yeah. And he did really good through the first like 3/4 of it. And then like the last quarter, he just started, like I saw him getting more like
worked
anxious
up
and like foaming at the mouth a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously I want to make sure, you know, we'll address that. What, just overall outside of that, has there been any places you've had, you know, any big issues, any places you would like to see some improvement in, stuff like that?
He's pretty good, honestly. Well, so he started being a little bit more nonchalant on coming back when he's off leash.
Got it.
Especially in the backyard.
Yeah. Do you let him off leash a lot?
In the backyard, yeah. I do. Our neighbors don't have fences, we don't have a fence, but you can't see the road or anything, so.
Yep, sure.
I'll take him out for like, we'll play frisbee or something for a little bit every day.
Okay.
But like if I see a neighbor's kid in the yard or something, I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll come like really, really slow.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, got it. And do you go on trails and stuff with him a lot?
Every day.
Every day. First question, when you're on the trails with him, how much time is like him free doing whatever he wants to do versus structure time, would you say?
Most of it's structured.
Most of it is structured?
Well, I'd probably say like at least 50-50.
Yeah.
Because he has a pretty big prey drive.
Sure.
So, if it's not structured, he's.
You said you talking about me? Okay, got it. And when you take him there, do you generally just have him on the short leash?
Yeah, we tried out the flexi lead. Just if no one's around, I'll like let it go. But
Do you have a flexi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't really do great with that though because there's kind of always leash pressure, I guess.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so then once we go back to a regular leash after that, we kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So then during your structure time, if you had to rate his like general level of compliance out of like 10, what would it be?
Probably like an 8.
An 8? 8's pretty good.
Yeah, 8.
You think it's that good?
Right now, maybe like a 5.
Okay.
Like before like right now, it was probably like an 8.
All right, I got you. Okay. And with your e-collar, how often do you find yourself using it?
I mean, when we're at home, he wears it all day and I keep it with me, but
Yep.
I don't really ever need to use it.
Sure.
And then if he's off leash, if he doesn't come back like really slowly, like too slow,
Yeah.
I'll use it. And then on the trails, lately it's been every time we see a dog.
Got it.
Not really so much like squirrels and stuff. He's pretty much stopped chasing them, but like
Yeah.
definitely when we see a dog, and I'll see him like build up.
Yeah.
And so I'll turn it up.
He doesn't react as much to it.
Yeah, he'll still.
Yeah.
One time he did chase after a squirrel in
Yeah.
our backyard and like ran into the road, and so I turned up to 100
Sure.
because he wasn't coming.
And did he notice that?
He noticed that.
Okay,
He
good.
noticed that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
He definitely still feels it, but.
Yeah. A lot of times I think what happens is when dogs go home from board and trains, because things are better than they were, we get a little bit complacent with little things, you know? So it's like certain things where we really should be getting a little bit more on top of him, you know, than others we let slide because it's better, right? And what happens is over time it starts to get deteriorated because the boundary you're setting of like better as opposed to perfect is gray still, right? And then on top of that, I think we get very hung up on certain numbers where it's like you just said, you know, at home it's 20 and then when he sees other dogs it's 50, right? So having this rigid mindset like that is so bad for your success because what happens is those situations where maybe it doesn't need to be a 50 but maybe 20 is still too low, you're not mindful enough to be able to adjust it based on his response to it as opposed to you know just staying at that individual number. So when you stay at a singular number, what happens is there's some situations that's good for, there's some situations that's too low for, and because you just keep it at that, you wind up getting him used to the number a little bit and then you need a higher number later on. So one big thing I want to kind of work on a little bit today is as we're working with him, getting you evaluating each time you give a correction how motivating it was to him and getting used to adjusting very frequently in your numbers based on what his response is, right?
So then I did that for like 2 days, then I went outside and I worked on in the backyard and on the driveway.
Okay.
And he did really well. Then I'm like, okay, let's go to the front yard because
Okay.
a lot more action when
Sure.
you get the front yard.
Sure.
And then I had to put it up higher to make sure he listened because there would be like dogs going
Oh, yeah.
by and he didn't want to come. And
Okay.
he got into the hang and he was listening.
Great.
So we just kept working on it in the front yard and the side
Okay.
yard. And then on my walk, I would like put him in it down.
Okay.
I'd call him to me, always calling him to me,
Sure.
and come, put him in it down, walk around, and things like that.
Cool. Well, then why don't we do, is it still nice outside? Or was it, okay. Why don't we walk down to maybe the park around the corner and we can do some recalls and stuff down there.
Okay.
It'll be a newer environment for
Yes.
him, kind of see how he does.
Okay.
All right, let's go. He's like, where are we? All right, I'll take his remote from you. Thank you. Okay. Gonna go explore? What do you think? Okay. And go see the trees? Maybe that'll get your attention. There you go. Okay. I knew that would get him.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Gator, come. Oh, good job. You're a good boy. Okay. Come. Good job. You're a good boy. Okay. Nobody's safe. Gator, come. No. Gator, come. Good job.
That's what I mean. I have to like remind him.
Well, you gotta correct him in between the reminding.
I have corrected him.
Yes. Okay.
I guess I can't expect him to be perfect.
No.
He just started
Well,
just learning it.
Exactly. He's new to this. He's just figuring it out. And especially when you think about how many times up until this point in his life did he get away with ignoring you?
Right.
A lot. Gator, come. Good boy. Good job. Oh. 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 Okay. Okay. Go. Come. Good job. Okay. All right, you go ahead and call him.
Gator, come.
There he goes.
You are doing so good. I know. You tell me all that. Tell me all that. Good job. You're doing great. You're running free in a field. You're the best.
And then make sure you release him whenever you're done.
What's that?
So make sure you give him the okay whenever you're done.
Okay. Okay.
Good boy, Gator. Good job. Gator, come. Good job. Very nice. I know, very nice. Okay.
Gator, come. Okay. Okay.
Go ahead and put him in a down. And now leave him there and walk away. Don't recall him. And then so now I just go back to him.
Okay. It's all part of the reward. It's all part of it.
I require
Come. Very good. F back, F.
Walk away from him. Now on this one, I am gonna have you recall him out of the down.
Oh, okay.
And then we're gonna test him, where then we'll do another down, walk away, and we'll see if he holds it or if he anticipates that come command.
Okay.
That's why I don't do a ton of like down, come, down, come, down, come.
And then
Then they start to get all jumpy in the position.
Yeah.
So call him now.
Gator, come.
Go ahead, give him one more freebie. Just say the command again. Perfect. The reason I let you repeat it on that one,
Because he wasn't really focusing.
well, not because he wasn't focusing, but because we've never done that before.
Oh,
We
okay.
always go back to him to release him.
Okay.
And so he was looking at you like,
Wait.
are you serious?
Is this really what you
Is
want me
this
to do?
really what you, did I mishear you? And so I didn't want to correct him because he wasn't doing anything intentionally wrong, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and put him in down now.
Yeah.
Now walk away again. And we're gonna see if he anticipates it and he prematurely jumps out of position or if he maintains it. This will be kind of a test for him. Because like once you open that door of, oh, you could call me out of this,
Right.
and of course a dog like him who finds that so much fun to run over to you,
Right.
it can be really tempting to break the command then. But he's doing very well holding it.
Doing well.
So I'm okay with you recalling him out of it. I just don't want you to do it a lot. Pull it in every now and
Right,
again, but
just to keep him on his toes.
yes, yes. All right, now
So
let's
afraid
walk
of
back
the
to
field by
him.
my house though, because everybody brings their dogs there.
Well, that's another example of you're allowed to be picky with where you do off leash with him.
Yeah.
You know, if I wouldn't take my dogs to be off leash somewhere if I knew it was like a regular spot for other people to take their dogs off leash. Just because most people who are doing that, unfortunately, shouldn't be.
Right, I know. So recall. Here, come. What it did the other day, I'm walking, I'm like, I needed to correct him for something. I'm like, he's not even making has any effort to like listen. I mean, no response.
Were you on vibrate?
I turned this side, but I never turned his collar.
Oh, his collar wasn't
I
on.
thought I had. So then I'm like, okay, this is gonna stop. So I stopped. I'm looking at his collar. I was like, no, there's no green. No, where are you going? Where are you going?
He said, oh, you're right.
I'm gonna stay with you.
My bad.
So then
Here we go.
put ourselves back together. And
Well, that's better than I came to work last week and I get all the way here. I get out of my car. We're walking across the parking lot and I look down. My dog's just completely naked.
oh,
No collars.
oh no, nothing.
Nothing. He's completely naked. There's nothing on him. I remembered his remote.
Oh,
Did not have the collar on.
Is that Snoopy?
Lumos, my shepherd.
I don't. Oh, I've met that one. Mm-hmm. You took him in class for a distraction.
Yes. Yeah. So he was just naked that day.
Well,
I
bet he
said,
did
well,
I
yeah,
bet
he did fine.
He remembered all of his.
Oh yeah, he did fine. So take that, everyone who says that our dogs would behave the same way without the collar on. I forgot he didn't have his collar on. That's how good he was being.
He was just. He knew. He knows what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, he was like, this is fine.